Hi everybody. So I wanted to do a video on each step. So I'm starting with step 1, but first I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the differences between NA and AA. The main difference between NA and AA is that alcoholism is too limited a term for those in NA, as the problem of those in NA is not a specific substance, but addiction. So issues with any mood altering or changing substance. So that's the main difference. Based on experience, it's believed that every addict, including the potential addict, suffers from an incurable disease of body, mind, and spirit. And that's what AA believes as well. It's a disease of body, mind, and spirit. So the purpose of NA and AA is to remain clean just for today and carry the message of recovery. To get sober, there must be honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Those are the 3 key ingredients. So, step 1, I'll tell you, in AA, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. NA, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. So earlier you can see that that's the difference there, that AA is just too limited, alcohol is too limited a word for those who have the disease of just general addiction. And in AA, a lot of people will say and admit that, they cannot use drugs either, because a drug is a drug, period. But AA is for those who their drug of choice happened to be alcohol. And, a lot of times in AA there is cross addiction. And people who go to NA, it's for all addictive substances or all mood altering substances. So if you're an alcoholic, you can still go to NA. If you're an addict, you can still go to AA. Now, if you are on harm reduction therapy medications, keep that to yourself. It's one of those things to just keep private. If, some groups, unfortunately, like at NA, harm reduction is totally accepted. And honestly, it's just more, until you get a feel for the people in the room and stuff, just to keep that tidbit of information to yourself. But a lot of people in NA are have been on harm reduction medications, and there are people in AA who also have been. So, but it's just something to kind of keep to yourself at first. 1 second here. Now, the first step is, it's the first step on the ladder, right? There's 12 steps on this ladder, and this is the first step. And the first step simply means we have recognized that we are powerless over our addiction or over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. So, to recognize that, how do you recognize that? If you are so used to chaos, try seeing if you can deal with a day without chaos and how you react. Try just sitting, relaxing, and not ingesting a substance. See how you do. Because what goes with addiction is people get used to the insanity and the chaos. And just, it they become almost addicted to it as much as substance because that's the routine they're used to. But it is insanity. You know, if you were to jump off the trampoline onto the ground and you break your ankle, are you going to do it again? If you got in an accident and you weren't wearing a helmet, riding your bike in the middle of the street, would you do it again? Or would you even do that at all? So, this is a disease, once again, that tells you you do not have it. But you are not a bad person. You are not responsible for having this disease, but you are responsible for your recovery. Now, step one can be the hardest. It is full of denial. Because, as I said, this disease tells you you don't have it. So you're going to rationalize, you're going to do everything to say you don't have this. This is not a problem that I have. Well, there's a few questions that you can ask yourself. So, what makes us addicts is the disease of addiction. Not the drugs, not our behavior, but our disease. There is something within us that makes us unable to control our use of drugs or alcohol. This same something also makes us prone to obsession and compulsion in other areas of our lives. How can we tell when our disease is active? Well, we become trapped in obsessive, compulsive, self-centered routines, endless loops that lead nowhere but to physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional decay. So if you have noticed that, that you're covering up lies, you have to lie, cheat, manipulate, that you don't want to spend time with certain people because that won't allow you to drink or use, isolating is a big one. Anyway, the first step, if you have any question, if you, think you might have a problem, step into a meeting room. If there's anybody on PEI that wants to go to a meeting but is too scared to go alone, I'm on Facebook, Shauna Lee. Message me and I'll go with you. So the first step is just overcoming your denial and admitting that you are powerless over this substance. Your life has become unmanageable. Try to keep it simple. Now, don't focus on all the other steps. Focus on step one. Get up that first step of the ladder and reach out. If you go to church, talk to your priest or pastor or whomever and, tell them, just tell them this is what's going on. Because there's confidentiality there and there isn't judgment. For those who are religious, there is a group called Overcomers at the Calvary Temple on Tuesdays at 6:30. It's a newer group, and your higher power is God. Now, not to scare you, that those steps come later, but I didn't mention that in the video that I did before, and so it's a newer group, and Overcomers is for any addiction or any compulsive behaviors like shopaholics, gambling, anything like that. So the first step, it's hard if you are in denial, but sit down, take a look at your life, and ask, am I really in control? Am I controlling this, or is it controlling me? Thank you. Have a good day.